Sausage. Hello, and welcome to this episode of First, the show where I give my first impressions on a game. And on this episode, I'm going to be talking about Blackwind, an action game where you drive around in a mech suit. You ride around, you walk around. You don't drive, you don't ride, you walk around. Walk in here, I walk in here. Oh my god, Dustin Hoffman. Midnight Cowboy. The game is an action game where you can fight with your energy blades. You got two on each. I mean, you don't have two on each hand, but you got one on each hand, arm of your mechanical mech body. Think Gundam, but not good. And it also works as a twin-stick shooter, except the shooting seems pretty weak and kind of a waste of everyone's time, yours most of all. And the thing about the game, I don't want to waste too much of your time with this game because I played it for, I don't know, an hour and a half or so. And in that hour and a half, I was pretty bored throughout. It's not a bad game, but it's just a perfectly fine, adequate game. Adequate would be the most apt word for it, the most apt descriptor for it, because it's not bad. It works. It's fine. It's just doing nothing special. The combat, the mechanics aren't the worst thing in the world, but they're special in absolutely no way. It's a pretty dull experience overall. Visually, it's clean, but lacks any type of uniqueness or any element that makes it stand out in any way. It's very bland, uninspired, lacks creativity, and it's just a very, very forgettable experience. It's the kind of game that most likely you, watching or listening, have not heard of. Did I say what it was called? It's called Blackwind, by the way, if I didn't already say that. I can't remember if I said that or not because it's a title that I forgot when I finished playing it and already forgot if I said it during this episode. Because it's just a very forgettable game that what I was going to say was you probably haven't heard of, and for most people, that's fine. 99.9% of you, that's fine. Never hearing of this game or ever knowing it existed, because there are so many games out there these days that unless a game is really doing something special or is just really, really mechanically strong, why should you put the time into it? And Blackwind doesn't do anything to grab you and say, hey, you should play me. I am worthy of your time. It doesn't help that it is a $25 game and there may be a lot of content there. It may be a very long game. I can't speak to that. But what I can say is no matter how long the game is, you're not likely going to want to keep playing it for more than a few hours, because while it works, it's fine, it's easy, it's not too challenging or anything like that. It just is really, really dull. It doesn't elicit excitement. It doesn't make you want to keep playing. It's just kind of there and something you can not power through, but you can push through. You can play through it. You could probably play it for 10 hours straight and not have a problem with it. But during those 10 hours, you're not going to feel like anything really happened. You're going to feel like it was all a blur because nothing exciting happens. And the only memorable thing about the game, I wouldn't even say it's memorable, but the only thing that stands out about the game is how bad the voice acting is. I've heard worse, yes, but it's not great. And what really makes it stand out as being especially bad, or what is constantly there to keep reminding you of how not great the voice acting is that the whole story is that you and your father, you play as this young teenage boy. I'm presuming that you're teenage age, but your father is the designer, the creator of these mech suits, and you end up being attacked or something, or maybe there's a malfunction and you crash land on an alien planet. You are in the mech suit because you're just like trying it out. You're like, hey, look at me, Dad, I'm so cool in this mech suit that you've built. And these mech suits that your father is building now have AI that adapt and learn with you and become your friend, essentially. So you have this AI talking to you at the same time. But you are this kid, and when you are defeating enemies, if you go the finisher route, because if you are attacking them and weaken them enough, you'll get a button prompt B on Xbox, and this will initiate a finisher move that will just instantly kill them and look cool, you would think or hope, or that would be the expectation, the assumption, but it's just the same animation over and over and over again. I mean, it differs from enemy to enemy, but it's always the same animation, which isn't that surprising or that big of a deal. But occasionally with a finisher, you'll get a quip to go along with it. And the thing about the quips that you'll notice very quickly is that there aren't many of them, and they're all delivered terribly, as is the voice acting and all the other aspects of the game. So you will hear the dumb kid, whatever his name is, I don't remember, he'll say the same things over and over and over again, like, who's the best? Who's the best? Oh, I'm gonna take you for a trip. Oh yeah, baby. And stuff like that. Except what I just did right there, the jokey deliveries, that's actually better than what you get in the game. And that's really all there is to the game. There's a leveling system that allows you to, with the orbs or whatever you collect, upgrade your suit and stuff so that you can dash further, or your attacks will be stronger, whether it be your melee attacks or your firing, so you'll shoot more bullets at the same time, or they'll do more damage. So no matter how much I upgraded my gun, it never felt like anything more than just a pellet gun, and there for no reason other than destroying your environment after you've cleared it out of enemies, which was probably the part of the game I enjoyed most, is just destroying the environment, whether it be a planet side area or a laboratory or a military base. When all the enemies were gone and there was nothing but equipment around me and the like, I really enjoyed shooting it all and watching it explode. But outside of that, I didn't have much fun with the game. It wasn't frustrating or anything like that, so it at least has that going for it. But when the most positive thing I can say about a game is that it's not frustrating, that's a bit of a problem. Again, it's not a bad game. It's fine. It works. It does what it needs to do. But at $25, there are so many other options out there. I mean, you can get at full price, though it's regularly on sale these days, you can get something like Hades at the same price as this game. And when you're able to put something like Hades and then Blackwind on the same level value-wise in terms of the price, it becomes a really hard sell unless you are a huge fan of mechs and all that jazz. I would say avoid Blackwind until it goes on sale. At $10, if you like mechs and all that jazz and enjoy melee combat, I guess, because I really do think the twin stick shooting element isn't that great, I would say it's best to avoid Blackwind. It's best to let it remain as dust in the wind for you. And that's all I have to say about that. But that is it. That is all that will do it for this here episode of First. Once again, I am Mark Kuznez. Y'all can find me on Twitter and pretty much everywhere at PX Sausage. If you'd like to see me streaming games like Blackwind, you can do so over at twitch.tv/PX Sausage. If you're watching this video on the YouTubes and you haven't already done these few things, you should like, subscribe, hit that bell, all that usual jazz. And of course, it is youtube.com/Pixelated Sausage if you happen to be listening to this on the podcast feed. And speaking of Pixelated Sausage, if you put a little dot and a comma after that, you've got my site, pixelatedsausage.com, where you can find more stuff like this, as well as the art I make. And if you see something you like, you can purchase a print of the piece you fancy. And if you fancy the site in general and anything that we do, please go over to patreon.com/PXS and support us that way. Again, thank you for watching or listening. I hope you enjoy this here episode, and I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day. Bye! Wow.
Enemies nearby detected.
Your trip ends here, dude.